Make bread. I'm going to make it with instant yeast. Hold the red star brightly high in hand. This is instant yeast that I just bought it from the store. Nothing fancy. The change this time is going to be, this is egg substitute. Is my autofocus not working? Oh, it is. Okay. There you go. Egg substitute, water, and this is vegan butter. So I'm going to just make this recipe without any sort of animal product. The thing I liked about my sourdough is that salt, flour, water. That's it. And it came out really nice, has a really nice distinct flavor. This has a good flavor, but I think if I can do it without animal products, that'd be cool. Not that that's a giant priority, but I just wanted to be vegan like my sourdough. So I'm looking at my recipe here. I have my water, I have my butter, warm, and sugar. So I need sugar. I'm gonna need 3 tablespoons of sugar. I'm gonna go ahead. This is my water. 255 grams of water. I warmed it up in the microwave for about 25 seconds to get it up to about 100 degrees. I don't need it to be boiling hot, but I do need it to be not room temperature. It's too cool in here, temperature-wise. There's the other half. Right, so that, my sugar, I'm gonna get my yeast out. My scissors. Nope. I made the very first time I made the yeast bread, I made it with water. So I know the water is going to taste fine. So there's a couple of preparation steps that are different. Mostly, well, actually this one's the same. Getting my yeast warmed up and feeding it. I'm feeding it some sugar water. Everybody likes sugar water, I know I do. Sugar water is warmed up. So I'm just gonna put that to the side. Now I gotta figure out how to make these. To replace one whole egg, I use the brand for, the same brand for oatmeal, and it comes out pretty good. So I was looking for an egg substitute, and that was one of them. There's stuff like egg beaters and stuff like that, but I like the idea of this. I think this might work better. So for one egg, I only need one egg, right? One egg. So combine 1 tablespoon egg replacer with 2 tablespoons of water. Mix well and let sit for a minute. All right. So I got some filtered water here. I got my mixing spoon all covered up. I gotta rinse this off. That's good enough. So the idea here is basically make a loaf of bread in the same way that I make a loaf of sourdough bread, the instant yeast. The instant yeast recipe has an egg and milk in it. Not bad. It tastes really good actually, but I want to see if I can just make it without any sort of animal product at all. Just out of principle, just to match my my sourdough. So combine egg replace 1 tablespoon. So this is a tablespoon here. So 1 tablespoon egg replacer, Didn't smell like almost anything. Just like if when you smell flour, but not even that. I can mostly just smell the bag that it's in. I don't know. So now I have this. I need 2 tablespoons of water. 1, 2. No distinct odor. I think I just still smell the bag. Whether or not that's a good or a bad thing, I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm expecting it to look like, but it just looks like oatmeal, water, oatmeal water, oatmeal milk, I guess. I drink oat milk every day, so. But yeah, eggs are runny and watery anyway, so I hope that's fine. We're gonna find out. That's the whole point of this. We gotta find out whether or not this is going to be a viable option, or just keep with eggs, or if I'm really wanting to do something vegan, I'll just have to break out the sourdough, which I need to do anyway. I haven't made sourdough in like a couple of months now, and I feel I'm losing that muscle already, which is not a big deal, but. So this recipe, I'm going to do 500 grams. I'm going to make a smaller loaf, because it's just me trying this out, and I don't want to like spend a bunch of resources and then it just be like a loaf of bread. That's happened before, so I don't want to do that again. So 500 grams. My yeast is starting to get puffy, so that's good. Nope, they get in the green first. So this has gotten nice and foamy. I think it does it with the milk too, but you just can't see it as well. You can't see it that well, but it's nice and foamy, which is good. That's what we want. So now, take my scale. We're done with this. We're going to I need half a teaspoon of salt. Not much salt. You don't need much salt. You do need it, but you don't need much of it. Flour, salt, and egg. Ah, it got thick. It's like just a little bit of viscosity to it, kind of like an egg. It's gooey. It looks kind of gooey like an egg too. So you let it sit there for a few minutes, and that's the key. Like I said, I've never used that before as an egg substitute, but it's like a couple of dollars for the bag, or like $4 for the bag. So it's not the end of the world if it's not like the best thing I've ever tasted. So these are mixed in and add wet. So this is our water, yeast, and sugar. The yeast is nice and puffed up now and ready to go, ready for action. So that's good. You see, I'm more in the shot than the food. The food is the more important thing here. There we go. Trying out a new rig. I think this one should work pretty well, but yeah. Incorporate this flour. It should not take that long. Warming up the oven. I'm just putting it like at 100 degrees so that way when I proof in the next 20 minutes it's going to start puffing up like it should, and then we'll be on our way. The idea here, it's like 8:50 in the morning. The idea here is to make this loaf of bread and have it for lunch today. I have some barbecue and I wanted to make it with, or eat it with my fresh bread. The main advantage to the instant yeast is I can have raw ingredients and 2 hours later I'm pulling a loaf of bread out of the oven, and then another 2-3 hours later I can eat it, right? So this has already turned the corner pretty well because I measured it out right. This is like 51% hydration, but this just acts differently than like a sourdough. Sourdough I usually do 72 to 73% hydration. This just is a different animal, so I just treat it differently and make sure that everything's incorporated properly. Put some oil in a dish and cover it. We're going to let this sit in the oven. The oven's at about 100 degrees. It's about like 95. Oops. Two of the most important things you should do. Take a picture of the before. Show the camera the before. And in 45 minutes to an hour, we'll have doubled, hopefully. So we'll see. All right, it's been 44 minutes. And I checked on it a few minutes ago, so I think it's 400. Let me check my temperature, because now what I want to do, I need to do a couple things. So I'm going to put it at 375. I'm preheating my oven, and look at this sucker. Look at this sucker. It doubled in size. Man, instant yeast is cool. And what you got to do, you always got to remember, take your after photo. Boom. Because otherwise Instagram won't believe you. Let me get a fresh towel. They always emphasize the fresh towel. I guess because somebody would just use the towel that they always use in their oven or for their kitchen, which is nasty. Fresh towel. Wash the towel if you got to. So I've got my towel. If you don't video it, it doesn't count. All right. Ooh, it's real airy. It's like filled with air. This is terrific. Wow. Instant yeast, huh? Try to squish all that air out. And then roll this sucker up. You can see all the air bubbles in it. It's great. remember, does not count if you don't take a picture of it. So this is our before. My oven is heating, so it's going to take like 15-20 minutes to get it up to temperature. I'm going to cover this up, cover it up nice and good. Let it rest for at least 20 minutes, probably like a half hour. I want it to fill up this whole pan, double inside, not double, but grow a bit more, I guess. I don't know, rise a bit more is what the term I'm looking for. Rise a little bit more, then in the oven. We're almost done. The hard part, the fun part's done, the hard part's done. Now the waiting part is here. If you have some dough that you came off your finger, do not eat it. It's got, oh, actually, you probably can eat it. It doesn't have egg in it. It has fake egg in it. I'm not going to. Anyway, we wait for this to bench rest for 20 to 30 minutes, and then once this is ready, then we'll pop it in the oven. Look at this sucker. Look at it. That was 24 minutes approximately. Take a picture of this thing. This sucker's ready to go. The only thing that's going to be different, get this out of the way, the only thing that's going to be different, I'm not going to do an egg wash on it because I want it to be vegan. So let's go ahead and stick this sucker in the oven. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. It's just a little after 10. I started this like just before 9 o'clock. So we're in the home stretch now. So put that back there. Let me see, I think, yeah. Set a timer for 26 minutes. Between 25 and 30. So like 26 seems about right. My oven is preheated, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it tastes really good and it'll be nice. And then I'll have another bread type that doesn't have any animal product in it. So it's not necessarily the way I'll do it every single time, but it's great to know that there's an option for it. That's the thing I like. I like to have the options for all of this, because my sourdough, I just did it by default. So if I can change around the ingredients enough and still make it vegan and make it tasty. Tasty is obviously more important than vegan, but this will be a great recipe to use from here on out. This will be out hopefully, in 25 minutes if it's ready. So give it a couple hours to cool, and then I'll have some for lunch because I have some barbecue sauce. My idea was like, I can make a brisket sandwich with vegan bread. I never said any of these ideas are great, but we'll see how we'll see how it looks after 24 minutes. All right, that was 25, 26, 28 minutes and change. When I saw it was, the color wasn't right, I just put the timer longer. So this sucker looks pretty good. Should just hit, there it is. Pop right out. No problems. Boom. Smells delicious. Smells right. So, yeah. Yep. There you go. Smaller piece, smaller loaf. But yeah, it smells right. So, now, the longest time we have to wait now. I let this get all the way to room temperature. So, at least with it's not that big, so give it at least 2 hours, probably like 2.5 hours or so, and we'll crack this sucker open, see what it looks like, and most importantly, give it a taste test. All right, it's just about time for me to make a sandwich. So I cut this sucker open, still a little bit warm. Maybe I should have waited longer. I always worry about the structural integrity of this bread, but this crumb looks actually pretty good. But the main thing, yeah, tastes good. I do think the milk and egg do add a little bit more. Well, the milk. It tastes like bread. Tastes like Mrs. Baird or something like just like a regular bread, but the crumb looks good. It feels good. So I'm gonna toast these and make myself a sandwich. But I think we have success here. So this is instant yeast based bread, strictly vegan. So no animal products at all in this. Flour, egg substitute, sugar, water, instant yeast, and that's it. So I think I have a way to do this bread if I want to do it vegan, you know, just because my sourdough is too. So I'm going to toast this and make myself lunch.